Is that better clap?
Much better clap.
Thanks.
Welcome back to the show, guys. We have some news for you. We just got off the phone with an entertainment lawyer. We've been really wanting to chat with one because I feel like as a first-time filmmaker and mainly an actor, I'm not really well versed in like the financial aspects of a feature film. I have friends that work at agencies that deal with huge amounts of money, but this is going to be an independent film, and also but we're not guerrilla shooting, so we want to do it the right way, pay our actors, and make hopefully a little bit for ourselves. So how did the phone call go for you?
It went well.
Yeah. All right, well, maybe we'll talk about how we even found one. So this one over here got us a meeting with Chicago Media Angels, and they highly recommended this entertainment lawyer who has a dual license in Michigan and in Chicago, and he's worked, I think he said 20 years in entertainment law.
A little over 20 years.
Yeah, so, and he also specializes in independent film, and he's very aware of vendor transactions. And he highly recommends working with a producer that is familiar with vendor transactions as well. So what that is basically it's maximizing the ability of the tax credit within the state. So he's got a decent relationship with the head of that department, and so does this one actually, because she went to school with him as an instructor. So we're really lucky to kind of have those bridges.
I think it's really great because we'll meet someone and then they'll lead us to the next person, who will then lead us to the next person, which has kind of been the process so far. One person will lead us to the next person that will lead us to the next person. And now we have legal counsel, which is great. So we can set up the film legally and take funds and have everything be a separate entity. The film will essentially be a business of itself. So we'll start an LLC, and we can start then taking investor money and, potentially loan money, and feel very comfortable doing it because we're going to be doing it the right way.
We went in thinking we want to ask mostly questions about taking an investment. We have people that are interested in giving us a loan or an investment, whether it's $5,000, $10,000, or something more. And we want to make sure that we do that legally. So when it comes time for taxes or who gets money back from profits, how that's going to work and how we're not going to get into trouble later down the road. We asked him these questions and he had some pretty good advice. He said that it's very looked down upon to take money actually from someone that's not classified as an accredited investor.
You have to make $300,000 a year or have $1 million in assets besides your house.
So it's a security law. So basically they can afford to lose money. And I believe he said that it's very important that you tell investors, huge possibility that you will make nothing on this film and never see that money again. And I was thinking in my head, why on earth would someone invest in a film then? Like, why would you, this is like the worst pitch ever. Invest in us, you're probably never gonna see your money again, right? So I don't know. But then we learned that a lot of times with investors, they actually have a part of the company, right?
It depends on how we structure it.
Yeah.
They may want to be a part of the company, they may not want to be a part of the company. It would depend on the investor and what they would like. The one reason to invest in a film, yes, it's very high risk. Yes, there's a good chance that you might not get your money back. However, with those high risk is high reward. It's like roulette. You could hit it big if you hit that one number. I forget the odds, which are, really against you. But if you hit that number, you're going to make a lot of money. I think it's more about believing in who is behind the project, believing in the project, and wanting to see it come to life, as opposed to, maybe the profit that you're going to get out of it.
And so we also asked like how much it would cost to work with an entertainment lawyer, and it seems like they classify how much they charge. They do it by a flat rate depending on the budget of the feature film. Like our lowball budget is $250,000, but with the tax credit, we're hoping to be closer. Should I even say it? We're hoping to be higher than that. We're hoping to do the Bender transaction legally. That's what we're going to try to do.
$250,000 is what we would need to just make the film. You know,
Right.
anything that we would have that would be in addition to that could just help make the film that much better. Whether it be raising the production value, if we could get a soundstage and build sets, or have, you know, a more seasoned crew, we could have better talent, or have, you know, at least the resources to get talent that we might want, so we're not so limited. Yes, we could make the film for that, but would I want more? Of course, why not, right? I want it to be the best film it could possibly be.
I'm just looking at my notes because I want to share gems with you guys, make your life a little easier. He mentioned with big name talent, it makes it a lot harder for an entertainment lawyer because usually they have to do around 7 revisions to a contract because agents are involved and usually they're in SAG. So when union is involved, it goes back and forth a lot with the agent, and they try to really like get the best deal possible for their actor. Great for the actor, stressful for the lawyer. So that's what I got from what he said about that. And then it's really important for us to set up an LLC for the production company because everything is going to be going under that, and we want to protect ourselves, but we also want it to be its own entity. Having an LLC protects you from
Like personal liability.
Right. Yes. And it only takes about 2 days to create, so it's not terribly long process. And then from there, he mentioned it would be in our best interest to set up a business account for the LLC. And from that, we are going to make a contract with him so we can take some seed money from an interested investor. And from that seed money, we can put into the LLC, under the LLC account and in that bank account. And then we're going to hopefully film the trailer from there. And that's pretty much our next steps. And from the seed money, we'll also pay the entertainment lawyer. So that's our plan essentially from that.
Yeah, and the whole idea behind that is when you set up an LLC, you can then open a separate bank account, so all that money can be kept separate. And so for accounting purposes, especially if you're doing something, you know, or shooting in a state where they have a tax credit, it will probably just make the whole process streamlined and a little easier moving forward.
Mm-hmm. So he mentioned that since I wrote the script and I'm going to be part of the LLC, we're going to sign over the script to the LLC. So basically, the production company owns the script. So that plus the seed money is going to help us get either a seasoned producer or help us get in the door for other people we want to work with, because it's not like we're starting from nothing, if that makes sense. So that should make it easier to go from there. Anything else that stood out to you as like little nuggets for them?
I don't have my notes.
I'm cheating. I have a list here for you guys. I took like 3 pages of notes. Essentially, I think we're just excited to have counsel for the film and the project. We are both not lawyers. We did not go to school for that. And we want to save ourselves from some trouble in the future. Yeah,
Definitely.
but we're pretty excited. He's worked with, like I said, a few producers that is familiar with what we want to do with Bender transactions and that has worked in Chicago and film. So we're excited to potentially be involved with them, but I still feel like we're not entirely sure. We're going to just see if we even vibe, and maybe they can be just a mentor. We're not sure how much help we need, but also when a producer comes on, I was thinking about this, they take a lot of money as well. So I don't know if we have this in the bag already and we just need a little bit of mentorship here and there, like a few questions sprinkled in.
Yeah.
Is it worth bringing on a producer if they're going to take like 60% of the profit or like something ridiculous? I don't know how much they take is what I'm saying.
But that's
this
something,
is not something
but this
I know.
is this is the importance of having legal counsel, because
Yeah.
before you would take somebody on like that, you would negotiate. You know, if somebody were interested in being a part of the project, then we would be able to say, well, what would you like? And they give what they want, and then you negotiate. You don't just, yeah, you want 60%? Let's give you 60% of the whole film when we've done all this work already, right? We haven't necessarily seen a profit, but hopefully there is one, right? And but then you would negotiate. So, you know, you could maybe say, okay, well, we can't give you that, but we can give you this. You know, see what we're comfortable with.
Yeah.
assuming that they would bring what is needed to the table. You know, if they could help give the film to where it needs to go, and we felt that way, it had a great vibe and brought a level of professionalism to the project, okay. But we're not desperate.
And this one signed up for a potential producer lab. She's in the running.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll see what happens. I have produced quite a bit in the past. It is not always my favorite thing to do because it's a ton of work, but I do like getting it done. It's very fulfilling to see the project up and working and the magic happening all around you.
In other news, kind of bridging the gap, I sent the script to 2 actors to do a possible audition tape with some sides. I was hoping to hear back from them. It's been about a week. So I sent them a follow-up, and they are going to send in an audition tape, and then we're going to see from there, 1, if we think they're going to be good for the role, and 2, if we want to utilize their talent for the trailer. Not that they have to be the main actors in the actual film. From there, I would like to do possibly a table read and have a screen test to see if they vibe with the other actors that they're going to be in scenes with. So that's kind of my next step with at least the production side of it. Anything else you want to mention about the visit with the lawyer or next steps, how you're feeling about the process? Did that take weight off of you, having that relationship?
I certainly feel like we're in good hands, having legal counsel and knowing how much it will cost to start that work, how much it will cost for them to be counsel for us through the entire process, which I think is very reasonable. And they're willing to work with us, so that's always a good thing. So it's taken a huge weight off of my shoulders. I guess for some reason I was a little nervous before the call, and I don't really know why. I'm thinking like, well, why am I nervous? It just makes it that much more real. We've done a lot of work before getting here, so really what we need is the money part, and then we could start actually hiring people, actually casting, and actually just getting this thing in motion. We can get that much closer to actually shooting.
I think the biggest takeaway that I would say is look into your state's tax credit and see if you want to film there. Do some research on vendor transactions and see who has experience in that, because I think that can be helpful. One producer we were speaking with that has a production company was saying either 2 things happen. People underestimate how much they're worth and they don't pay themselves, right? Or they charge too much and pay themselves too much, and then that's like a red flag for, I don't know if it's the IRS or who looks into like that stuff, but it's a red flag. So you want to pay yourself like a legitimate amount that isn't absurd, but you want to pay yourself for your work.
Let's say you have a $1 million budget. You don't want to pay yourself $1 million if you're getting a tax credit, right? That would be a big red flag. So you have to pay yourself a lot less, but something manageable within that amount. When we were talking with the head of the Illinois Film Office, they were mentioning that if it's $1 million budget, you don't pay yourself $1 million, because then you're going to get that tax credit back on that. So you get 30% back on $1 million, which is quite a bit of money. You want to make sure that if you are working with a tax credit, you're doing it legitimately, and you're talking with a lawyer and a CPA and setting yourself up for success so nobody comes knocking on your door looking for you.
Yeah. Don't forget the goal. If this gets overwhelming, just think at the end of the day, you want a finished product. Just make the film, right? Have a completed project. So that's where we're headed. And then from there, after you have created that project, you want sales and distribution. You want theatrical release. You possibly want to make a deal with a digital platform, especially in today's age and with COVID. So those are the things that we're kind of looking into. We have so much more to share with you. I hope this is helpful, and we're going to try to keep ourselves on top of these notes so we can share it with you. Anyways, it is going to snow a ridiculous amount today, so that is what we have to look forward to here in Chicago as it's nearing the end of February. That gives away a little bit of when we're filming this, and we're hoping to film in May. It seems like spring keeps pushing itself towards summer though, so, and especially with everything we're doing, it's very likely we might push the film back to June. But I don't want to make a big decision like that until it gets closer. So as the process is continuing, we'll see if we're still on track or if it would make the project so much better just pushing it back a few weeks than overstressing ourselves to hit that deadline. So we'll see. Okay. I think we have wrapped this quick little interview segment. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll chat with you guys soon. Cheers.
Bye.